Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this special bulletin. To say that Black Myth Wukong is a success would be a gross understatement of the obvious. Such a massive success, you would think that all kinds of outlets and journalists and pretty much across the internet would be celebrating. We get a fun game. Millions and millions of people are playing this game and giving it high praise. Yes, there are some out there, complaining about apparently there are frame rate hiccups, and to each his own, whether it's on PC or console. But overall, it's looking like to be a massive success. So much so, you're looking at 2.4 million concurrent players at an all-time peak about 8 hours ago of this recording. It's breaking its own record every single day. Now, is it going to break the concurrent players for PUBG at over, 3.2 million? We'll have to wait and see what the first weekend shows, but as of right now, and even with the player count of, less than 300,000 people, that's going to go up in a few hours as of this recording. I believe in the afternoon hours in Central Time where I'm at, it was hitting 500, 600,000 players. So while it is a massive success, obviously, a good 2 million players in China, nothing wrong with that. It's still garnering quite a few in the West. And yet, we have people complaining about its success. We'll go over a couple of articles over here from that Park Place. Reset era. Surprise, surprise. Users getting depressed. See what a few things the regular people are saying. I say regular people, that's not very nice. Normies, non-journalists, talking about this game. Unexpected, and it's just the start. I was thinking 200 to 250,000. Well, to be fair, in the West, you're probably getting 3 to 500,000 players in the, I would say that 3 to 500,000, maybe 3 to 400,000. Guess people just don't care nor pay attention to the issues with the devs. Oh, this lovely little narrative over and over again. The one that's been talked about ad nauseum as being a mistranslation. I guess, much like IGN, they just don't want to admit when they're wrong. Depressing that a game made by such a horrible devs gets rewarded. Just genuinely sad. Again, basing this information on a mistranslation. I love this one. Gamers really just don't care. 100% correct. We don't. Ultimately, the vast majority of gamers do not care about the goings-on of what the devs do or what the devs say, unless, of course, it's absolutely astronomically moronic, and then we point and laugh and move on to the next one. And even then, if they put out a game and it's fun, say it with me, folks, make it fun first. No, Steve, I'm not adding the third F. That's all you have to do. Make it fun. Make it fun first. And you'd be surprised. Again, I don't know why the devs would be surprised, but if you make it fun first, you'll make the money. Make it fun first, and we will... Okay, I'm not going to... That might be a bad choice of words. Fuck it. And we will come. Giggity. Next one. So the best-selling game of 2023 and probably 2024 can both go in the trash. And yes, they are referring to Hogwarts Legacy. Remember the top-selling game of 2023 that was completely and totally snubbed at good old Jeff Keighley's Game Awards? Coward. Another one, the anti-feminist stuff literally helped. What anti-feminist stuff? It's a game, a mythological setting about a monkey. It's a Monkey King. Chinese mythology. What is anti-feminist about that? The gaming community has a long way to go still. Oh, of course. Edit, or it's just non-US players. False alarm. Oh my goodness. We go over this over and over. So you would expect this from the usual suspects on social media who just, especially the ones that go to Reset Era, much like the Mary Sue, a toxic sludge bit. Probably more of an echo chamber than Twitter used to be. But what's worse is when you have website journalists. But again, I guess he got the firmware update. He got his scripted, his marching orders, because good old .esports associate editor Tom Foley rages. Rages? Did he really? Let's see. Black Myth Wukong developers and demands game includes more diversity. And I say, get bent. Games, you should never demand a game include diversity, because when you demand it, when you force it, it will be seen. It will be noticed as inorganic, unnatural. It won't feel right. And everything else about the game will suffer. Focus on the story. Focus on the gameplay. Focus on the world building. And then, a diverse cast should be towards the bottom of the list of things you want to accomplish with your video game. There's nothing wrong with putting any sort of message or diversity, equity, and inclusion. There is legitimately nothing wrong with that. Unfortunately, what we're getting in the modern day for the modern audience is inorganic, unnatural, forced diversity, equity, inclusion. And as I've said many times, and other channels have said it as well, when you do that, it is noticeable and the rest of the product suffers. So let's see. In an article titled Black Myth Wukong's Shameless Lack of Diversity, it's a fucking monkey. It's Chinese mythology, you ignorant tit. My goodness, how can you have your head so far up your own ass that you do not understand? They made a game, the Chinese developer made a game based on Chinese mythology that was primarily catered to and primarily played at the moment by a Chinese audience, and decided to release it to the world, which I'm all in favor of. Let everybody check out your masterpiece. But don't cater to everyone, because then you fail. You have to cater, there's nothing wrong with catering to a specific audience. Shameless lack of diversity. It's got monkeys and tigers and lions, probably lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Goodness gracious. Is attracting the wrong type of fans. Yes, it's attracting the wrong type of fans. The type of fans that have massive amounts of disposable income, that want their escapism, that want to get away from the nonsense of the real world and just have a good time. That, apparently, according to these so-called mainstream video game journalists, they're the wrong type of fans. The people with the money that are going to support this product, spend their money on the product, cheer and share the product with their friends and get their friends and other people to get into the game as well. The wrong type of fans. Foley bemoaned numerous gamers praising the game for not being gay or woke. Oh God, is that really where we are right now? We have to have those qualifiers. It's not quote unquote woke. I don't like this timeline. I think I said it on my live stream last night when we were talking about Alien Romulus. Hoshi was saying that there's no ideological messaging in the movie. It's like, why do we have to say that? I want to get away from having to have that qualifier, or feeling the need to have that qualifier when we're talking about a product. It's not necessary. Talk about what you like and what you don't like. I want to get away from it, but that's one more tangent. Foley fumed, quote, on August 21st, Puberty's Instagram page shared news of Wukong breaking Steam's single-player record. Good on ya, mate. And the comments are full of unsavory replies from fans delighted the game isn't inclusive. I got a feeling that's not exactly what they said. Now, I'm sure people, this quote is definitely a hyperbolic statement. Because it's not gay or woke, the top comment reads, which at the time of writing has nearly 4,000 likes. Oh, dearie me. Tragedy, tragedy. So proud of this game that doesn't support any genders or sexual orientation. Okay, what's wrong with that statement? We're being bashed over the head over and over again where, that seems to be in the forefront. Gender inclusivity, sexual orientation. But again, people have their own opinions. Unlike the other games nowadays, yeah. Hey, you know what? Gamers, in general, a good bit of them, are tired or are frustrated with certain things being pushed in their games over, I don't know, good, fun gameplay and storytelling. So, yeah, they're going to voice their opinions. You don't have to agree. You don't have to disagree. It is what it is. You make your own decisions. Another user said, oh, boo-hoo. The common sentiment is that, quote, liberals are in tears, and it sounds like right-wing gamers couldn't be happier. How about we're just gamers? We're not right-wing. We're not left-wing. We're not liberal. We're not conservatives. We're just regular guys, regular women who want a fun little escape escapism, fun little game to play and just check out and focus on something else. Let's see what else he has to say. Foley then unleashed his anger at game science despite giving the game an 8 out of 10. Huh? And claiming it was fantastic. Wait a minute. I am so very confused. It's kind of like IGN posting article after article saying they're not responding to our questions about the mistranslation, and yet they're reviewing the game. They're talking about the game. Stick to your guns. Stick to your convictions. If you are not happy with game science, why are you playing the game? Why are you talking about the game? Why did you give them a platform, so to speak? After 40 plus hours, I've yet to encounter a single female character. And so what? It's a bunch of animals. From what I've seen, the bosses are a bunch of animals. Aside from one inanimate mini-boss called the Mother of Stone, and no one can convince me that's a good thing. Okay. Research. I'm going to go ahead and link the article, but I want to get to his quote. If you want to go and read this, he's citing Alfred Kinsley in 1948, some flawed research conducted. So let's see. Represents a classic example of looking for data to support a preordained set of desirable conclusions. Yeah, you go looking for something to support your idea, your statement. If you go looking for it in a biased way, you're going to find it. Instead of actively going in unbiased, objective, looking for something about the answer. That didn't make sense. Actually using a scientific method instead of going in with a bias. So that's what that's talking about. So, nevertheless, Foley used this survey to claim, quote, diverse games appeal to more players. I believe that's incorrect. Fun games appeal to more players. Diversity should not be on the top of the list, which can improve sales by helping developers tap into new markets. Well, how's Dustborn doing? How is, what's those other games? How's the Suicide Squad doing? The answer's terrible. Those are massively diverse games. I'm pretty sure they decided to focus on diversity, equity, and inclusivity instead of focusing on, I don't know, story, gameplay, mechanics, and world building. So, that statement's provably false. He also added diverse games feel more relatable to a broader audience. That's because they're superficial twats who can't see past their own noses, who only look at, well, skin-deep similarities instead of the actual journey of the character that they're playing or watching on TV and the movies. That sort of superficial relatability will not last more than a blink. Broader audience and satisfy the community's growing demand for inclusivity in the industry. If there was an actual demand, a legitimate growing demand for this inclusivity, then the sales numbers would reflect it. It's just that simple. Right? The numbers don't lie. Ironically, his previous example of players not wanting diversity in the game contradicts his claims here. Furthermore, even he admits that Black Myth Wukong broke the record for the most concurrent players for a single-player game. That's a whole other discussion. People don't want to play single-player games. Yeah, well, we got a laundry list of proof that says you're wrong. He accuses them of not being diverse enough. Oh, boo, fucking who. After completely contradicting his own points and making a fool of himself, Foley continued to embarrass himself by claiming, quote, there are plenty of excellent games that don't have a diverse cast of characters simply because there's no room for them. Okay, what are you trying to say? But there was room for diversity in Black Myth Wukong. Oh, really? Oh, the developers seemingly chose to ignore it. Maybe because they based it on their own mythology. What? He then claims that the game that features an anthropomorphic monkey as its main character is in reality a straight male. No, I believe Wukong became a god? I believe that's his name, the monkey's name, Wukong. Didn't he become a god at the end of Journey to the West? I haven't read the book. I think I actually want to pick it up because of all this. I've always been interested. When a developer elects to only feature straight male characters, he's a monkey! It sends a message that diversity isn't important, or worse, that it's a bad thing. No, nonsensical stories, boring gameplay, boring characters with superficial characteristics is a bad thing. That's the bad thing. And gamers are noticing it, and gamers are tiring of it. Gamers are closing their wallets up tight and walking away. This rallies toxic community members who share the same opinion, encouraging passionate gamers to go for each other's throats. What this does, again, gamers want a fun game. They want a fun gameplay loop. That's it. It's not complicated. Okay. So now, John, I love you, John F. Trent, but we're going to pass up, I believe, Bishop Robert Barron. Diversity is important. So I think he's getting to religion. We're not going to do that. Love you, John. So that's pretty much it. I don't understand. This game is massively successful. Yeah, sorry for that little blink over there. And it's being it's being denigrated by people who should be celebrating. You work for a video game website. You have a video game that is a massive success. And instead of talking positively about it, praising it for its success, promoting it to the moon, you have chosen to insult it, insult the people wanting to play it, and therefore, well, chipping away at what little integrity you may have had before this. But that is definitely something that, well, gamers are going to celebrate over and over again, because the more integrity you lose, the more traction you lose, the more traffic you lose to your own website, the sooner the demise of your website will happen. And then maybe, just maybe, someone will come in with more integrity, with a less biased opinion, someone that will simply talk about the video game, talk about what's good, talk about what's bad, instead of the ideological nonsense that websites like yours are pushing over and over. Websites like Kotaku, Polygon, the Mary Sue, apparently .esports as well, that don't push the nonsense. Get away from pushing the nonsense. Just talk about the game. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Leave a like, leave a dislike, do all those nifty little things that YouTube is begging you to do, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.